Have you ever felt the weight of being invisible to the very woman who once looked at you like you were her entire world? It's a haunting silence, a kind of emptiness that crawls under your skin, reminding you of something you lost, or maybe something you never even had. And deep inside, whether you admit it or not, you wonder, what makes a man unforgettable to her? Not for a week, not for a season, but for years. What makes her lie awake at night, replaying his voice, his presence, his energy, even if life has moved her miles away? Let me tell you something most men never realize. Being unforgettable isn't about looks, money, or even charm. Those things are fleeting. What truly burns a man into a woman's memory is the feeling he leaves behind, the psychological imprint carved so deep that no distraction can erase it. I want you to imagine this clearly. Two men walk into her life. One is exciting for a moment, the other remains a shadow she carries for a lifetime. What separates them isn't fate, it's awareness. It's the subtle choices, the energy he embodies, the way he makes her feel seen in a way no one else does. See, most men chase tactics. They chase tricks, surface-level games, hoping it will make her remember them. But the truth is, tricks wear off and games collapse. What doesn't fade is the memory of how you carried yourself, the gravity of your presence, and the strength of your boundaries. The man she can't forget is the one who refuses to beg for her attention, who never loses himself trying to please her, and who doesn't crumble when faced with her storms. Instead, he's grounded, calm, and unwavering. That kind of energy plants itself inside her. It haunts her when she's with someone else. It whispers in her mind when she's alone, and it burns like a scar that never fully heals. And here's the secret. Becoming unforgettable isn't about controlling her thoughts. It's about mastering your own. When you do that, she will remember you not because you demanded it, but because you left behind something she can't replace. Every woman has a silent test she runs on every man she meets. It's not written, not spoken, and most men never even notice it. But you've felt it before, the way her energy shifts, the way her tone sharpens, the way she withdraws just enough to see if you'll chase. These aren't random mood swings, they're subconscious checks. She is asking one question without words. Are you strong enough to stand in your own power, or will you crumble the moment she withholds affection? And here's where most men lose their chance at being unforgettable. They fold, they chase, they get desperate. And in doing so, they show her exactly what she feared, that he is like every other man, replaceable, predictable, weak. But when you stand firm, when you don't flinch, don't beg, don't over-explain, you become different. You become a challenge. And not in the childish sense of playing hard to get, but in the rare sense of a man who doesn't allow his emotional stability to be dictated by a woman's mood. That steadiness is magnetic, it's intoxicating. It plants seeds in her mind that grow long after you've left the room. She will test again and again, because her instincts are wired to search for a man she can trust in chaos. If you pass, she remembers. If you fail, you disappear from her memory like smoke. The unforgettable man understands that patience is power. He knows silence is sometimes louder than any words. He recognizes that when she pulls away, it's not always rejection, it's a mirror, reflecting whether he will stand tall or collapse. Think of it this way. When a storm hits, does a mountain move? Number. It stands, unshaken, letting the winds howl until they tire themselves out. That's the energy of the man she carries in her heart, the one she compares every other man to. He doesn't break under pressure, and because of that, she knows he is different. The truth most men avoid is this. Women don't forget men who make them feel safe and excited at the same time. Stability without boredom, strength without arrogance, calm without indifference. When you embody that, she doesn't just notice. You imprint yourself into her memory, into her emotions, into the quiet spaces of her thoughts where no one else can reach. Let's cut deeper into a truth most men refuse to face. She doesn't remember the man who gave her everything she wanted. She remembers the man who gave her something rare, an experience she couldn't find anywhere else. Understand this clearly. Comfort is forgettable, but impact is eternal. You don't become unforgettable by showering her with compliments or bending over backward to meet her needs. That only makes you blend into the noise of men who thought attention alone was enough. What etches you into her mind is the contrast you create, the way you make her feel emotions she didn't even know she craved. Think about it. When she recalls a man years later, it's never because he texted her good morning every day or agreed with everything she said. It's because he left her breathless with his presence, because he sparked both desire and curiosity, because he refused to be predictable. Predictability kills memory. It turns passion into routine and routine into dust. The unforgettable man is both consistent and mysterious. He shows her reliability in his values, but he never allows himself to become a script she can read before the page turns. This doesn't mean you play games. Games are manipulation, and manipulation fades. What it does mean is you live from such a place of purpose, of depth, that being around you is like standing near a fire. She feels warmth, but she also feels the danger of losing you if she doesn't respect what you bring. That paradox, safety with the risk of losing it, is what burns your image into her mind long after the moment is gone. And here's the hardest part to accept. She will never forget the man who walked away rather than shrink himself to fit her expectations. When you hold your ground, when you refuse to compromise your vision, when you let her feel that you are willing to lose her rather than lose yourself, that memory cuts the deepest. Because most men give in. Most men surrender themselves to avoid conflict. But the man she can't forget is the one who would rather face the pain of walking away than the shame of betraying his own essence. That choice, that unshakable self-respect, brands you into her soul. There's a reason why some men stay in a woman's memory even when she swears she's moved on. It isn't about physical attraction, because beauty fades in memory. It isn't about wealth, because money never touches the heart. It's about the way he made her feel about herself when he was around. That is the deepest imprint you can leave on a woman. Not how she saw you, but how she saw herself in your presence. The unforgettable man is a mirror, but not the kind that flatters. He reflects back to her the parts of herself she didn't know existed. He calls out her potential, challenges her excuses, and refuses to let her hide behind masks. That's what shakes her to the core. That's what lingers. Most men try to win women by giving comfort. They think, if I make her life easier, she'll want me. But comfort breeds complacency, and complacency is forgettable. The men who haunt her thoughts are the ones who ignited transformation within her. The ones who held her accountable when she tried to play small, the ones who didn't fold when she tested their resolve, the ones who demanded she rise to the level of the connection. That kind of presence doesn't fade, it sticks because it made her better and it forced her to grow. She can never forget the man who unlocked parts of herself she didn't know were waiting to come alive. But here's where many men misunderstand. Being unforgettable doesn't mean you become her teacher or her savior. It means you embody your own growth so deeply that she has no choice but to evolve just to keep up with you. You don't push her to rise by preaching, you push her by living as proof of what's possible. Your ambition, your discipline, your unshakable sense of direction, that is what forces her to elevate. And even if she leaves, even if life takes you apart, the taste of that elevation stays with her forever. She compares every man after you to that feeling, and most will never measure up. That is the real secret. She doesn't remember the man who gave her comfort. She remembers the man who gave her fire, the one who challenged her reality, the one who made her step into a bigger version of herself. That's not something she can ever erase. Every man wants to be unforgettable in a woman's life, but few understand the cost. It's not about how much you give, it's about what you're willing to withhold. Desire isn't born from constant availability, it's born from the spaces you allow her to feel. Think about the men women talk about years later. They aren't the ones who texted back within seconds or rearranged their lives at every whim. They're the men who lived with purpose so strong that she had to fight for space in his world. The ones who didn't make her the center of their lives, but invited her into a life already full of direction, discipline, and drive. This is where so many men fail. They confuse love with sacrifice, thinking that giving up everything will prove their devotion, but what it actually proves is weakness. It proves they have no mission greater than her, no backbone to anchor them. And when that happens, she forgets him the moment someone stronger, more grounded, enters her life. The unforgettable man never abandons his mission. He makes her feel chosen, yes, but chosen to walk beside a man already walking his own path, not to become the path itself. That subtle difference is everything. And here's the irony. The less you need her, the more unforgettable you become. Not because you're cold, not because you're detached, but because she feels the truth. You are whole without her. That kind of wholeness is rare. It's magnetic. It terrifies her and excites her at the same time. Most men suffocate a woman with neediness. Unforgettable men give her the space to miss them, the space to chase, the space to wonder. That wondering is where memory burns deepest. But never mistake this for indifference. Indifference leaves no mark. Passion combined with independence leaves a scar. You give her intensity when you're together. You give her silence when you're apart. And you never bend your purpose to fill a void. That balance of closeness and distance, fire and restraint, is what makes you the man she will never fully get over. You become the standard she measures others against, and in the quiet of her thoughts, she knows no one else quite compares. Let me leave you with the truth that separates men she remembers for a moment from men she remembers for a lifetime. She doesn't carry you in her heart because you were perfect. She carries you because you were rare, rare in your patience, rare in your strength, rare in your ability to hold her without losing yourself. Rare in your willingness to walk away rather than betray your values. That rarity is what makes you unforgettable. She can find good looks anywhere. She can find money anywhere. She can find charm anywhere. But a man who is whole in himself, a man who loves with fire but stands unshaken in his mission, that man is carved into her soul. Being unforgettable isn't about control. It isn't about trying to trap her or manipulate her into obsession. It's about being so fully alive in your own purpose, so grounded in your own essence, that your absence echoes louder than another man's presence. That's the kind of impact that lingers. And even if she walks away, even if she builds a life without you, she will think of you in moments she can't explain. When she hears a song, when she smells something familiar, when she sees a man try to be what you already embodied, you become the ghost she can't escape, not because you haunt her, but because you showed her what she didn't know she craved. But here's the challenge. It requires discipline. It requires courage. It requires you to stop chasing approval and start living by your own standard. Most men will never do it because it's easier to fold, to beg, to play safe. But the man who dares to live at this level, the man who dares to lead with strength and heart, that man cannot be erased from her memory. He becomes the story she tells herself when she's alone, the comparison she silently makes when someone else tries to love her. And deep down, she knows, he was the one who left a mark no one else can touch. So now I ask you, are you ready to become that man? Tell me in the comments, what's the one thing you know you must change in yourself to step into this kind of power? Share your answer below, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this tonight.